Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's video. I am so excited to have Devani Freeman with us today. Hi, Devani. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for spending the time. We are here today to talk about all things social media marketing, digital marketing, all this great stuff. I know people have so many questions ranging from, how to use social media more effectively, and then more specifically, how to do advertising to promote courses or offerings or products the right way. So I'm really excited to dig into the conversation with you today to give people some pointers and offer them some tips on what to do and, learn from what not to do. And, we can even talk about some fails that have happened, because I really find that you probably find this too. You learn a lot from the things that have gone wrong and to help people not make those same mistakes. So I'm so excited to have you on the show today, like I have a show. But let me tell you guys a little bit about Devani. She is a digital marketer, a social media strategist, an all-around awesome woman. We met each other years ago in Seattle, but Devani is now in Southern California, but works with clients all over the world. And I had to read some of these success stories that she's had with her clients because they're absolutely amazing. She has helped heart-centered solopreneurs, which is mostly who she works with, go from 0 to 1,500 targeted subscribers in 30 days. She's helped a client generate $22,000 in business in 30 days. She's helped people sell out online courses, cultivate lucrative referral partnerships, and just all around help people to amplify the good work they're doing in the world, which I know all of you I've talked to so many times. That's really my jam, is helping you amplify the good work that you're doing in the world and using marketing and promotion to do that. So Devani, welcome. We're so glad to have you
Thank you.
in this interview. Is there anything I left out? Tell me a little bit about your business and the types of clients that you work with.
Yeah, so I love working with heart-centered entrepreneurs. And what I mean by heart-centered is it's someone that has a product or a service that helps to change people's lives in a positive way, whether that's through personal development, whether that's through courses and teaching, or it's a product that helps to enhance someone's life in some way. And so there's like a purpose and a meaning behind the business.
I love that. And just full disclosure, you guys, Devani and I have worked together in the past, and she's been amazing for my business and helping me with generating some email subscribers and launching some of my programs. So I can't speak highly enough of Devani and her work, and her team is fabulous. So let's get right to it. Let's kind of look at this at a macro level. What's your take right now on the state of social media marketing? It's changed so much. I know you've been doing this for about 10 years, if not longer. And so where is it right now? Where's the ROI for solopreneurs and small business owners, especially with all of things like, just as a random example, the changes to the Facebook page algorithms and things like that. So where are we in the state of social media marketing? And is there still ROI for solopreneurs and small businesses?
Yeah, absolutely. So social media is still highly lucrative, absolute must-have tool that every solopreneur should have in their toolbox. But how we used it a couple of years ago versus how we use it today has changed dramatically as more and more people have gone on social media. It's becoming more and more saturated. And so when a marketplace becomes more saturated, the strategies have to change along with that. So there's a few things that I'm seeing in the marketplace, and I'm seeing with strategies and what we're doing with our clients is, first of all, understanding that social media, if you want to stand out on social media, you've really got to speak your truth and you've got to be authentic. If you were using social media to just be a magazine or an advertisement or a billboard and you're just spouting like things that you do and you're just promoting 24/7, like it's not going to work.
Right.
And if you're thinking about using social media as just being a traffic generator and you're trying to do that organically, that's not going to work. So there's like two sides to social media. There's the organic side and then there's the paid traffic side.
Right.
The traffic side, yes, that should be one of your top traffic sources for leads for your business, which is something every business needs in order to thrive as leads. And you can get super targeted, amazing leads when you do it right with the right marketing message from Facebook, from YouTube, Instagram. So when it comes to your organic content strategy, which is posts that you're doing on a regular, consistent basis, you're building trust, the know, like, and trust factor, that is where the authenticity comes in. And that's where people are really connecting with you when you show who you are behind the brand, who you are behind the scenes, what makes you, be who you are. Like, what is your why? What are your values? What are you into? Because as we all know, people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. So keeping that in mind, there's so many different social media platforms. Depending on which one you should use, depends on who your target audience is.
Right.
My two favorite platforms are Facebook and Instagram. So with Facebook and all the algorithm changes, you're noticing that like less and less are you getting reach, are you getting engagement, are you getting traction on that darn Facebook page? It's like, like, is it even worth me posting there? Right. Yes, it is, because your Facebook ads stem from that page. So you still want to keep some traffic going. Right. But with the latest algorithm update from Mark, he really drove the point of using Facebook to create community, because when people create community and a sense of belonging, people are more likely to come back to hang out and to spend time. So how do we create community? Number one, Facebook groups. So he's really big on Facebook groups and using that to create sub communities. So if you don't have a Facebook group for your business, it's definitely something to think about. And then number two is using Facebook Live to create those type of communities where people are actually having their own conversations in the chat about the topic of the Facebook Live, and building a community of people knowing that you're showing up at a certain time, almost creating like a TV show in a way. So those are things that we took away from his update that are where Facebook is wanting to go to. Right. And then also continuing to, like, nothing's changing with Facebook ads. That's how they make their revenue. And so having a well thought out Facebook ad strategy and be continually driving traffic to get people off of social media onto your email list, checking out your courses and things like that is going to be a big benefit.
Well, and I have a question about that. I mean, there's so much good stuff in there. I mean, the first thing is, number one, Facebook has never wavered from the fact that everything they do is designed to keep people on Facebook longer, from day one, right? So it stands to reason that they want you to create a community that's going to keep people on their platform longer, whether that means they know you're always tuning in every Wednesday at noon because you're doing a Facebook Live on your page, or whether it's because it's such a specific interest community that you're creating, or whether you're, like myself, a lot of my paid programs, I run a private Facebook group for those programs as just a course hub, as a way to keep people coming together. And we're checking those every day. I actually gave up personal Facebook for Lent. And I'm trying really hard because I have to go in for my business and I have to go in for my coaching program, but I'm still going in for those reasons. Like, maybe I'm not going to my personal feed as much, but I'm going to those business pages and those business groups. So I think that's the one thing about everybody can just kind of calm down. I saw a video that you did on this several weeks ago, in that has really never changed. It's about valuable content that people want to consume, and people don't want to consume commercials. Like,
Right.
It's fine if you're soft selling things to them, but it's really about what are they interested in? What do they care about? To your point about being authentic, really just means being who you are. Like authentic is different for every person and every brand. And so, just being who you are and not just promoting commercials 100% of the time about buy this or join this course or blah, 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 but it's about having that conversation. So I love that. And I wanted to ask specifically to your point about Facebook groups. I think one of the things that I hear and I personally experience is, God, how many of these things do I have to manage, right? So I've got like the Facebook page, the brand page, and then now like a Facebook group that's maybe a free access group, and then maybe another group that's for my paid program. Like, how do you manage it? And how do you advise people to deal with the management of that? Let's just talk just about Facebook for a second.
Yeah. So every month I put together a content calendar.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm posting a couple times on my page, but I actually put more emphasis on posting in my Facebook group than I do on my page. Because I already know I'm going live on my Facebook page, and it's more about like less is more when it comes to pages now with content.
Do you go live in both places? Do you go live on your brand page and in your groups? And then do you do those on separate days of the week?
I mostly go live on my page.
Okay.
And then in my group, I don't have a set schedule, but I go live in there. Okay. And usually it's answering questions specifically from group members or talk about topic or like more insider stuff. Then I'll share that in there.
Great.
So then in my group, I have like consistent like posts, like every Wednesday, I give them the opportunity to promote something that they have going on. Then I've got like a Tuesday tip where I want somebody to share a tip with the group. And then I've done also like Friday brags, like what's something great that's going on. So I have these pre-scheduled ahead of time, and you can pre-schedule posts in Facebook in the group now, which is really great.
I know. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And so this allows me to stay present, and automate some things and then just jump in there to like answer questions. And then I have my assistant that's looking over it. I have my assistant that like when people request to join, she just looks over, makes sure that they are a good fit and then accepts them. She'll welcome people into the group. So I have a second set of eyes there. And then my paid group is, totally separate where they get more of my time.
Right. They get more of you basically. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it can like seem like, wow, this is a lot, but like between my page of an audience of, over 6,000 and then a small percentage of that. And then I've got a group of, almost, I think 2,700. And then my other paid group, it's like, but it's really great exposure. Like I'm showing up and I'm being consistent and I'm being of value. So it's part of my marketing plan and part of my marketing strategy to show up consistently for these women in there.
So you check in at least once a day, right? I mean, you're pretty much.
If I have a crazy day, I'm not checking in my Facebook group unless somebody tags me, and then I'll go in there. But I do have my assistant that's keeping a bird's eye view. And then if she sees something and like, can you answer this question? And all that kind of stuff. And
I think that's a really important point in that, I know that a lot of solopreneurs are strapped and they're on a budget, but there are some things that the return on them are going to be so big. If you just hire a VA or hire someone that can help you and outsource that instead of trying to feel like you have to take all the burden on yourself, because eventually, like you're saying, if you can lead those people into sales, if you can eventually create that warm, nurtured audience that converts to revenue for you, that's going to pay for itself and then some. So I know it's a really hard decision to make when you're starting out, or maybe you're not having a good year, but it's just so important that we don't sort of take this black or white view of like, only when I'm making $100,000 am I going to hire a VA. It's like, well, maybe you need to hire a VA now so you can spend more of your time on value-added tasks to get to that 100K. So it is that fine balance. And so I'm glad you kind of brought up that sub point there. So talk to me a little bit about, you've been personally great for me with Facebook ads and teaching me so much about what works and what doesn't with Facebook ads. So, what are some things that people need to consider? So they're going, yeah, I want to start doing Facebook ads. I've got a course I'm trying to promote. Let me just buy some Facebook ads to promote the course. Right.
Right.
What do you see? What are some things people need to consider? Maybe like the top 3 or the top 4 things people need to know and think about when they're doing Facebook ads to make sure that they're successful.
Yeah. So,
I know there's like 90 things you could talk about, but
there is. Okay. So let me narrow this down. So the first thing is that, okay, great. You have a course that you want to sell. How do I drive traffic to this course and get more sales? Well, you never want to drive cold traffic directly to a course.
Or to any sales page, right?
Yeah, to any sales page, unless something is like super cheap, like like under $30, and then you can test that. And sometimes we have times where that works, but most of the time you're driving them to something of value for free, getting them onto your list, or they opt in, and then on that thank you page and sale page, you're offering something for free, or you're inviting them into your webinar, or getting them into a training series where they're consuming some of your content. So again, they can get to know, like, and trust you. You get to give them value before then you're asking for something, for them to invest in something. So when you're thinking about using Facebook ads, you have to actually think about, okay, what is that thing that is going to be the first step to get someone interested and primed and ready and educated to where they understand why they need what I'm selling on the back end. So you have to reverse engineer what your course is and who that ideal client would be. What is that first problem that they're thinking about? Because here's a really big nugget is a lot of times we want to sell people what we know that they need. But what we need to give them first is what they think that they need, what they want. And so that's where we put our thinking caps on and strategize. And so that's the first place you think about with Facebook ads is, okay, what's that lead magnet? What's that freebie? Okay. And then you also want to have in mind that when you're launching ads for the first time, you're always going to be spending more money up front. And the reason why that is because we have to have some money to play with for testing. Like we have no idea who your target audience is. We, that tracking pixel, which is what tells Facebook, okay, this is a lead, this person opt in, this person is your ideal client. It doesn't know any of that information yet. It's brand new. It's just like, it's a baby just born. Like we got to get it walking and got to get it moving. And so as you're getting through like that diaper stage, right, you are spending a little bit more money. It's a little bit more stressful. It can be, or you can sometimes hit things right outside of the park. Like it just depends. Like, what the marketing message is, and is it speaking to the right audience? So knowing that and having the mindset in place that you're going to spend a little bit more money up front. And then number 3 is copy is a really big piece. So copy that's like talking to a friend, copy that's conversational, copy that's telling a story, but also have to be very careful that you're not calling people out and you're not making claims like you are. If you have a lot of you are's in the copy, then sometimes it can be turned down, or making claims like, you know, anything that may be hurtful or anything like that. Facebook can be really particular on that.
Can you go back to that first point? Because I think that's a really important one. I don't know that everyone knows about this thing about when you're, you know, because we're taught to write our copy as if we're talking to someone, right? Like you are, you. Talk to us a little bit about the danger with Facebook ads of how you use that. Because I think that's a really important thing to educate people on.
Yeah. So if you are making claims, like making claims as in saying like, I know who you are, and and sometimes you can get away with this, but sometimes it can make it sticky when you're making too many claims of Facebook thinking that you're calling someone out and
because their
you're
algorithms are looking for like things where someone might be attacking someone or something like that, or
or attacking or pointing out anything with like race or like, if you are a female, that blah, 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 like, also any claims around weight loss. So like, it doesn't want like people to feel like they're being called out in a way that could be hurtful.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's where it can just get a little bit sticky.
Right. Sometimes you're just saying things, but because of the algorithms, it could think that you're accusing somebody of something versus talking to them, right?
Yes. Yes.
So and that's what I love about working with you is you're able to spot that in copy that's being written and say, I think we need to temper this. But to your point about the testing, that's so important because I mean, just in general, as marketers, we all know that so much of marketing is trial and error. Because if it was an exact science, everyone would be making a ton of money. Like we're talking about human beings, right? And so you marry that with the fact that there's all these algorithms with Facebook. There's a lot of testing about which images to use, which copy to use. Should you include emojis in your copy or not? Like what's the headline, playing around. So there's a lot of, it's not just like you create one ad and you run it and it's successful. And I think that that's the big fallacy because of traditional media. That's what you do. You buy a print ad, you get it created and you run it in the magazine and that's it. You don't change it after it's running. But with Facebook and, with anything digital, it's all about testing what's going to work and what's resonating and what doesn't. And it's often surprising, right? Like, I know when I've run campaigns in the past, you think, oh, nobody's going to want to see a picture of me, right? In an ad. Like they want to see something else or something inspirational or something blah, blah, blah. And then it turns out, no, people want to see you. And it's just stuff like that. It's just very surprising, but you can't make those discoveries unless you just accept that there's going to be money that you have to spend on the front end of testing. And we're not talking like thousands of dollars, which is the beauty of Facebook, right? Like we're talking about what, $10 a day, $100 a day. I don't even know what the right range is, but it's pretty cost effective.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay, great. And so and I know you also do some stuff with Instagram. So are you, and I personally don't use Instagram for work, but what are you seeing in terms of what's working well there, or what people should know about promoting themselves in Instagram and promoting their business?
Yeah. So Instagram is fun. Instagram is where, Facebook was 3.5 years ago because it's not as inundated yet.
Right.
And it's like a digital magazine, which is great. It's a lot of like curated photos and it's very beautiful and also very real and authentic. And stories are really powerful. So bringing people in behind the scenes and again, building that trust factor, having people see what's going on in your life, but also a way to be able to promote in 10-second clips. And so you get to get really creative. And it's, if you're someone that's visual and you love creating visual things or being in front of the camera, like it's just great platform for that. And is growing a lot. So it's, and we're noticing really great ad results coming now. Like at first on Instagram, it always ran more expensive. And now we've been doing a lot more testing on Instagram and we're noticing some great costs coming from
That's
Instagram.
Great. That's great. Yeah. And I personally know a lot of people who have left Facebook as a personal platform for Instagram. They prefer it because it's just, not as many political rants, not as many like just other things. And so they're going to Instagram. So I think that's really fascinating, kind of those shifts that inevitably always happen, right? And then 10 years down the road, we're going to be having a different conversation. So now I know you specialize in Facebook and Instagram in particular, right?
Yeah.
And so maybe this is a little biased, but what social networks are giving businesses the best bang for their buck? I mean, is it Facebook and Instagram? Do you have any experience with LinkedIn ads or Twitter ads or anything like that?
So you're just talking about ads, paid traffic?
Yeah, I guess when it comes to advertising. Yeah.
Yeah. Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Mm,
LinkedIn is very expensive.
yeah.
Twitter could be expensive as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not as high quality leads.
Mm-hmm.
But doing paid ads on YouTube, which is something we haven't dived into.
I didn't even know you could do that. So
Yeah.
that's great. Okay.
Yeah. So when you are watching a video and it cuts into a commercial
Right.
where you have to actually wait a couple seconds before you can click through that,
Right.
creating ads that people watch through that. And then also when they're searching for a video, seeing you on the right-hand side for suggested videos.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of entrepreneurs that are doing really well with Instagram. I mean, with YouTube, but what I've also heard is YouTube will spend your money very quickly.
Yeah.
So where Facebook, it takes effort to be able to scale it up and spend a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
People like spend your money.
Yeah. Well, and the reason I'm surprised is I always thought like that was like a big budget, big brand thing was to buy the ads on YouTube. And I know that, one of my past guests, Amy Landino, was talking a lot about like working the YouTube algorithm so that you can do things with your videos that are unpaid so that you show up on people's home screens as you also might like video. So there's lots of ways to sort of game that YouTube system as well, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But, so let's switch gears a little bit because you touched on this before about, it's not about sending people to a sales page, whether you're advertising on Facebook or on Instagram. And we've talked a lot. I mean, obviously with the work I do with branding, it is all about what is your story? What is your approach? What sets you apart? What's the why? All those great things. And then at the end of the day, though, we're trying to sell something. So what do you tell people about, like, educate us? I know a little bit about this, but educate us about the marketing funnel and what that means in terms of Facebook ads or Instagram advertising.
Yeah. So a great marketing funnel has a few different components to it.
Okay.
First, you have like the top of the funnel, and the top of the funnel is what are you getting people into your funnel. Mm-hmm. So this should be a lead magnet. This should be something that is for free, mm-hmm. that is speaking to providing a solution to what your ideal client is wanting. Mm-hmm. Okay. And top of the funnel, great lead magnets are online challenges. I love those. Video series, a guidebook or a cheat sheet. So some of those are different, like a guidebook and cheat sheet, something somebody can digest very quickly. Mm-hmm. Typically you're going to get a little bit lower cost leads, not as high quality necessarily than somebody that's going to invest and say, hey, I want to be with you on a 5-day journey, mm-hmm. And participate in your challenge, or I want to watch your video series, or what's mm-hmm. working really well for a lot of people is doing a webinar. Or an mm-hmm. automated webinar series. But again, driving traffic to webinars can be a little bit more expensive. So anyhow, you have the top of the funnel, then you get them in your funnel, and then you can either right away, you can actually sell them something that's like low cost on the thank you page, which is called like a tripwire. The reason why you would want to do something like this is if you wanted to help with your advertising costs, or you just wanted to create a list of like active buyers, or you could go right to your training or whatever it is, your freebie that you're giving them. Mm-hmm. And then during the funnel process, then that's where you follow up with emails, and you have a drip campaign where you're building trust and you're giving value, and then you're making the offer. Mm-hmm. And so that is like a funnel. They can be super complicated, and you can have upsells and downsells and all this kind of stuff. Right. I love keeping things simple. I think the most complicated funnel we do is like a 5-day challenge funnel. And the only reason why I say complicated is because it's more days and it's extended. Mm-hmm. And it goes from a 5-day challenge into a webinar, and then it's selling on the webinar. Mm-hmm. So there's a little bit more moving parts. And so, you could have a simple funnel. If you're just starting out at the beginning, you're like, I want one funnel so I can start to generate leads. And then when I'm ready to sell, I have this warm audience to sell to. Then I would think about what's a cheat sheet or a template or a guidebook or like a meditation, an audio, or something that somebody can quickly download and consume a piece of your content and do that for free. And you would have a landing page and they would put in their name and email, and then they would land on a thank you page, have them check their email, and then start that drip campaign of setting up, 3 to 4 emails on the back end for them to get to know you, invite them into a Facebook group. And that would be a very simple funnel to start with.
Yeah. And what's great about all of this is we're talking about tactics right now. And as my audience knows from hearing from me for years, it's about knowing what that brand story and what your value is and who you're talking to before you even embark on stuff like this, because that's what makes this stuff easier. Is once you're like, okay, I've got my brand strategy baked. I know exactly who I'm talking to. I understand the value that I offer, the benefits they desire, and why I'm different, why I'm the one to deliver it to them. And also just like the style and vibe of how you communicate, which is such an important piece of your brand. That's what then gets translated into things like Facebook ads and a marketing funnel and whatever lead magnet you create. But it's really hard to create any of those things until you have that foundation in place, until you have that, like, I know who I am, what I'm about, why people care, and why they should buy from me, and who I'm talking to. All those basic questions answered, I bet, you've had maybe some clients that have come to you and they don't have that baked. And so it's a lot harder, right? In terms of like, who are they talking to? Who are we going to target on the Facebook ads? Like, who needs this? Is this really a problem that they have? What makes you the person that's the right person to provide it? All that kind of stuff. Can you speak to any of that, from clients that you've worked with? Like, how has that worked well for them of having that story baked before they even come to someone like you?
Oh, I mean, it's a night and day difference of people that have the foundational work done, because it has to be done. Like, you have to have a foundational brand, a brand message. Who are you as your brand and your personality of who you're showing up online? And then who is that ideal client? And the more that you're confident in who you are and your messaging, the more attracting people and ideal clients is like, it just happens like clockwork. So the more that you can invest in doing the homework and the work and investing in your skill set with like what Maria teaches is going to set you up for success down the road. And that's the main thing that I think a lot of entrepreneurs are missing, is creating the brand and creating the clarity and the languaging and really knowing who you are serving and what you are helping them with.
Right.
And niching down to focusing on, okay, I'm helping to solve this one problem versus trying to be all to everyone. And when you do that in the beginning, you're going to get so much faster traction. And you can only understand that by doing the homework in the beginning of creating the brand strategy.
Because otherwise it's like, you target a very specific kind of solopreneur.
Yes.
And if you just went out there going, I'm going to just take out ads to target all entrepreneurs everywhere, like, that's just burning money, right? So
yes.
really and knowing who you're talking to and who is that ideal client.
Right. And at the beginning, I didn't have that clarity. I was trying to serve everyone. I was teaching things from social media to content to list building to like all sorts of stuff. And then through trial and error, I honed in and I was like, okay, I work with heart-centered entrepreneurs. I want to really get known for 5-day challenge funnels, for Facebook ads, like list building and really honing in on that. And then now it's like, I'm that go-to expert.
Right.
And so some of us have to go through that trial period of trying to everyone inserting
For sure.
be like, this is not working.
Yeah.
Or if you just realize, okay, I'm not doing this and I've got a niche down from the beginning, get clear on my messaging and brand, it'll save you time and money.
Time and money. We love that. All right. Well, great. Well, so tell us how folks can get in touch with you, and tell us a little bit about your free Facebook group that you mentioned earlier.
Yes. Yeah. So the Heartcentered Business Lounge is my Facebook group. So if you just search Heartcentered Business Lounge on Facebook, you will find that. It's an awesome group. You can find me anywhere on social media, Devani Freeman. My website is devanifreeman.com. And then if you're interested in creating a 5-day challenge, which is a great funnel if you want to lead into a live course launch, or you want to sell out private or a group program, I have a really cool guide that I'll give the link to that, which is devanifreeman.com/challenge formula.
Great. And I'll put that in the blog post as well.
Perfect.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much, Devani, for your time today. We really appreciate it. And like I said, I've really enjoyed working with you. You have changed my business for the better. And, I'm constantly learning, even after doing marketing for all these years. But it's a constant learning. And I think the biggest takeaway is that, kind of, we alluded to this at the beginning, is finding those experts who can help you. Like, you don't have to be an expert in everything.
Yeah.
And really knowing where's the most valuable use of your time, and then when to work with trusted experts like you. So thank you again for joining us. Take care.
Thank you.